Hello everybody and welcome back to Sunshine Islands. It is now the third day of fall and Gannon should have built our chicken coop for us that we requested yesterday. Time and time again I am just so impressed that he can build anything we want in such a short amount of time. It sure does beat waiting a couple of days though. It's always exciting and fun to get a new building. So it's nice that we get to check it out right away. And then of course, because it's a new building with new animals, Mirabelle is gonna come by and give us a very generous gift of a brand new chick, which I was not expecting. That's wonderful. Now, as what I want to do for a name, when I started naming the pets, I didn't really have any sort of theme in mind, but I thought about it, and I thought it would be really fun to go with a Final Fantasy theme for the remainder of our animals, our chickens and our barn animals. There are so many games out there now, and lots of characters I can think of that have names with 6 characters or less that I thought it would be an easy thing to do. So let's get this whole thing started. First chick on our farm, we are going to go ahead and name Tifa. Short and sweet. And I'll allow Mirabelle to give this tutorial, even though it's going to be very similar to the pet tutorial. So just like in the stable for our animals, we have a feed dispenser, which we would then take the feed and put it into the feeder, and each chicken eats 1 piece of bird feed per day. And if we do not feed our chickens every day, they can get sick and die, which is different from our pets. Obviously they are eternal and immortal and never die, but we have to make sure that we feed our chickens. Chickens can be held to increase their friendship, similar to the dog. We would just pick them up. And with the chickens, we will also get the hand icon above their head at times, which will prompt us to play that petting mini game that we played with our horse. You can let your chickens outside to find their own food. To put your chickens outside, just pick them up and set them down. Chickens love to be outside when the weather is good, but don't put them outside when it's bad weather or they could get sick. Make sure they're all back in the coop at night to keep them safe from wild dogs. And that's about all she had to say in her tutorial, so very brief, very easy to understand. Chickens are by far the easiest animal to take care of. They're incredibly low maintenance and easy to transport. Now, unfortunately, I didn't think about this yesterday when I had this thing built, but I have no way to feed my chick today. I have to wait until tomorrow because Mirabelle's is closed. And when you have chicks, they are not allowed to go outside until they're fully grown. You can see that the building is quite small to begin with. It just has spots for 2 chickens and that's it. We will need to upgrade this at some point. And you will also notice that we do not have incubators in here at all. And that is something that we would need to speak to Gannon about if we wanted to build them and get them inside of our coop. Directly below the coop, you can see that there's this little stone circle that I have just very crudely fashioned. I just kind of whipped this up in my spare time off screen. And basically what this is the area that I'm going to keep my chickens in when they are grazing outdoors. Obviously I'm going to make this a lot bigger and I'll probably make it nicer by building it out of material stone. But it's going to do us okay for now because we're going to have 1 or 2 chickens max in there. And the reason that I like to keep the chickens contained is because they do not have a map icon over their heads when you let them outside. And so if you let chickens outside and you want to then bring them back in, say it's going to rain the following day, you know exactly where to find them in order to get them back into the coop in a timely fashion. Because if you don't, they could wander anywhere on your farm, and this is a very large map to have to search square by square to look for runaway animals. The other reason that I do that is because it protects them from wild dogs and other animals, because chickens I often leave out 24/7 unless the weather is bad, because they will feed themselves if they're outdoors. I do not have to worry about putting any food in the feeders, which is nice. And now that I'm in town, I'm just going to sort of make my rounds here and pick up stuff as I go. I think it's also going to be a good idea in my very, very near future to think about upgrading my rucksack again, because I'm still having to do quite a bit of inventory management, and the next rucksack upgrade isn't terribly expensive. We're looking at about $5,000, and we would unlock more slots. And I have a flower to give to Will, and in exchange, he has a sunstone to give to me. We will still need to give Will some more flowers in order to increase his friendship to get his household sunstone. But that shouldn't take long, considering that we can just butter him up with flowers. I guess I should go and pay Natalie a visit. Hopefully she's still in the cafe. Nope, she moved, of course. I can always get her on my way back. I do have to go to the next island, because I have other business I want to attend to as well. Gannon's is closed tomorrow on Sunday, so I want to go there and speak to him and have him build something else for me today. And then I come here to find Julia, and she's gone. You guys need to stop moving around on the map. You need to stay where you are. I will give Natalie her blueberry, and I guess I'll give Lana a fish since she's hanging out over here. I did some fishing off screen last night with the stamina that I had left over, so you can see I've got a few of them in my inventory. I managed to stack a few of them at least. And thankfully Julia is at the beach, so I can just give her her gift. I haven't seen Sabrina in a little while. She's probably over on the Mystic Islands, because that's pretty much the only other place that she goes besides staying in her house or walking around on this island. I feel kind of bad for Sabrina. I've kind of let her fall to the wayside a little bit because I don't really have any sort of great gifts to give her compared to some of the other girls anyways. But if I spent more time mining, that would definitely change. There's just so much to do in this game, and sometimes some things take more priority than others. It's a constant juggle in this game to kind of cover everything and do everything that you would like to do. I'm also trying to clean this island up because it is real messy. Lots and lots of weeds. I feel like I just cleaned this up not too long ago. I visit these islands like constantly. I've been picking up lots of red herbs though, which is really nice because that makes an excellent gift for Witch. And And now that all of that is all said and done, I will go over to Gannon's. And I have a gift for him, as well as the Harvest Sprite, who is still hard at work, even though I can't use his services any longer. And he should be done today. He shouldn't be in the shop tomorrow, and he'll have his very, very long rest period after this. So let's have a look at some of our buildings. If we want to, just for fun, we can look at our next chicken coop upgrade. If we want to upgrade the size, you can see that it's going to cost us 360 pieces of lumber and $5,000. And then we have some other options, such as adding another feed bin, which would allow us to have another chicken. You can see that it doesn't cost a whole lot to do that if we supply our own lumber. We can also put an incubator in, a friendship display. I've never actually purchased this because it didn't seem necessary when I can look at my animal's friendship in the assets menu. So I don't actually know what that does from personal experience. And then finally, we can also add a shipping bin inside of the coop if we want to, rather than just using the one that's by our farmhouse. So those are all upgrades to keep in mind if we want to upgrade the chicken coop and make it larger and more extravagant, which we will be doing later at some point, but I will probably still focus on getting the barn next. It seems the most logical step, and at this point, it is probably going to take quite a while to be able to do that. What I came to see Gannon about today, though, is building the bridge, which would take us over to Link Island. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fork over the $15,000 in cash, because paying in cash isn't all that much different than paying with our own materials, and I'd much rather keep the lumber that I have now. Plus, I wouldn't be able to pay his lumber cost anyways. So with that, we've drained our bank account by quite a bit, but we're not completely broke. We do still have a little bit of money left over. So I'm not all that worried yet that I'm gonna have no money to buy things in case something comes up. I probably won't splurge on the rucksack right now, just because I might need that money for something. I do know that I want to buy another chicken right away. So that's one expense that I have to consider, as well as buying the chicken feed from Mirabelle's probably tomorrow when she is open. Ooh, and look at that! Surprise sunstone from Kirk. From riding over to the Mystic Islands, I will take it. Hey, that's awesome. And another reason, now that the sunstone has come up again and reminded me of getting the bridge built right away, is that it'll allow us to unlock more islands that we can raise up that will be more beneficial to us than raising up the wild animal island. I know we have that option, but there are more useful islands available that are just locked right now because we can't have access to them. And they are useful, but they're also a lot of work, because you not only have to raise them up from the ocean, but you also have to build a bridge to each one, similar to what we've been doing right now with building the bridge to Link Island. So I really want to be able to see all of those options so I can weigh out what is going to be best to do next. Because Wild Animal Island isn't really all that important we only get one sunstone from it, and in order to be able to reap the benefits of the animals on the island, we have to befriend them, which is more work, obviously, and more money. So because we're still fairly early on in the game, I'm not too worried about it, and I would rather save what sunstones we have and work on expanding our farm. So if we take another quick look at the assets page, we have 14 sunstones, and hopefully that will be handy for us shortly, and we can raise some more islands up from the ocean and just sort of start planning the best ways to use our lumber and exactly how much money and lumber and stuff that we're looking for in order to do all of these upgrades that we are going to want to do. And I don't really have any other content that I wanted to cover today. I think that kind of goes over everything that I wanted to go over. Obviously, tomorrow we are going to have our new bridge built. But we also have the Cow Festival on the 5th, so I'm a little on the fence about what it is that I'm going to show off on which day. So I will either be back tomorrow or I will be back on the 5th. But either way, I will have some more stuff to talk about hopefully very, very soon. I want to thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.